You're sitting at a dinner table with a family, but it's not your family. Maybe a friend's place or your partner's family. Everything feels loud and familiar, overlapping conversations, small arguments, bits of laughter that make it seem completely normal from the outside. You look around and realize everything is unfolding the way a family usually does. Nothing seems out of place. Nothing seems broken. And yet, something inside you feels different. Then, in a very quiet moment, something hits you. You don't have this anymore. Not in the way they do. The feeling doesn't come suddenly. It's not dramatic. It's subtle, almost easy to ignore. But it stays. It lingers just long enough to make you pause. It's not that you don't have somewhere to go back to. It's that you no longer choose to go back. And that difference, it's much harder to explain than people think. If you've ever felt something like this, or if you're somewhere between staying and walking away, stay with this video a little longer. Sometimes you don't need advice. You don't need someone to tell you what to do. Sometimes you just need to hear your own thoughts said out loud by someone else. What you're about to hear may not fix everything, and it probably won't give you a perfect answer. But it might give you something more important, clarity. And when you have clarity, even difficult decisions start to feel less confusing. If you find yourself thinking about these things more often than you admit, you can subscribe to the channel, not just to support the content, but as a small reminder to yourself that you're trying to understand your own mind a little more honestly. Before we go any further, there's something important that needs to be said clearly. Not everyone who has a family actually has a place they can truly return to. It sounds uncomfortable because it goes against what we've been taught our entire lives. We're told that family is where you belong, that it's always there for you, that it's supposed to be safe. But for some people, that safety never really existed in the way others imagine it. They still have parents, siblings, relatives, but every time they go back, something feels off. They feel like they have to adjust themselves, to shrink certain parts of who they are. They choose their words more carefully. They hold back certain thoughts. They filter their reactions. And after a while, they start asking themselves a question that doesn't have an easy answer. What am I actually trying to hold on to? And this is the part that most people misunderstand. People who cut off their family are not the ones who gave up quickly. They are usually the ones who stayed far longer than they should have. Most people look at a situation like this and simplify it. Someone walks away from their family, and the assumption comes almost instantly: something must be wrong with them. It's easier to think that way because it keeps the world predictable. But the truth is rarely that simple. When you only look at the final decision, you miss everything that came before it. You don't see the years of trying, the repeated efforts to fix something that never quite changes. You don't see the internal conflict, the hesitation, the second guessing. And because you don't see those things, it becomes easy to judge. But if you slow down, if you try to step inside that experience, even for a moment, you start to notice something different. Walking away is not always an act of rejection. Sometimes, it's the first time someone chooses themselves after years of choosing everyone else. In psychology, family estrangement is rarely caused by a single event. It doesn't usually come from one argument or one moment that changes everything. Instead, it builds slowly, almost quietly. It starts with small shifts that don't seem important at first. You share a little less because you feel like you're not really being heard. You expect a little less because you've been disappointed too many times before. You stop explaining certain things because you already know how the conversation will end. And these changes don't happen all at once. They happen gradually, over months, sometimes years. So slowly that you don't even notice it at first. Until one day, you look at the relationship and realize it doesn't feel the same anymore. And by the time you fully understand what changed, the distance is already there. The difficult part is that while all of this is happening internally, the outside world sees almost none of it. From the outside, it looks simple. Someone stops coming back. Someone stops calling. Someone becomes quiet. And from that limited view, people create their own explanations. They assume personality changes. They assume attitude problems. They assume distance without reason. What they don't see are all the invisible moments that came before. The times you showed up even when you didn't want to. The times you stayed quiet to avoid conflict. The times you told yourself this visit would be different. The gap between what people see and what you actually experience becomes wider over time. And that gap is where most misunderstandings begin. Imagine walking into a room and already knowing how everything is going to unfold. You don't need to hear a single word yet, but you can already feel it. The tone, the energy, the familiar pattern. You sit down and the conversation starts, and it's exactly what you expected. The same questions, the same comments, the same comparisons that make you feel like you're always missing something. At first, you try to respond. You explain, you clarify, you try to be understood. But after enough repetitions, something shifts. You realize that your words are not changing anything. So you start speaking less. You start choosing silence, not because you have nothing to say, but because saying it no longer feels worth it. And that silence, it doesn't mean you're okay. It means you're tired. Tired of repeating yourself. Tired of hoping for a different outcome that never comes. When you look back, you realize there wasn't a single breaking point. There wasn't one moment where everything suddenly fell apart. It was a series of smaller moments, each one adding a little more weight. Conversations that went nowhere slowly made you stop trying. Disappointments that repeated themselves made you lower your expectations. You adapted, you adjusted, you told yourself it was manageable. But over time, those adjustments changed the way you saw the relationship. You started noticing patterns you once ignored. You started recognizing things you used to excuse. And once you see something clearly, you can't unsee it. That awareness changes everything. What many people don't realize is that even after walking away, the emotional part doesn't just disappear. There are still moments when it comes back, unexpectedly. You might see another family laughing together and feel something shift inside you. Not exactly jealousy, not exactly sadness, something more complicated than that. You might think about how things could have been, not how they were, but how they could have been if things were different. And that's the part that stays with you. You don't just lose a relationship, you lose a possibility. And that kind of loss doesn't happen once. It repeats itself in small ways, over time, quietly, but consistently. When you understand all of this, the decision to walk away starts to look different. It's no longer something impulsive or careless. It becomes the result of many moments where you chose to stay before. The guilt may still be there, and that's normal. It makes you question yourself. It makes you wonder if you could have done more. But that feeling is not evidence that you made the wrong choice. It's evidence that you cared, that you invested time, emotion, and effort into something that mattered to you. People who don't care don't struggle like this. They don't question themselves. They don't look back. The fact that you do says more about your capacity to care than your decision to leave. There is no easy version of this story. Staying hurts, and leaving hurts in a different way. At some point, you have to choose the kind of pain you can live with. And when you reach that point, the decision is no longer about right or wrong. It's about what allows you to keep going without losing yourself. Sometimes, walking away is not about rejecting other people. It's about finally protecting something that has been overlooked for too long, yourself. And when you see it from that perspective, it stops being just an ending. It starts to feel like a necessary shift. If you saw yourself anywhere in this story, you can share this video with someone who might need to hear it too. Sometimes a single perspective doesn't change everything, but it can make someone feel less alone. And if you want more content like this, you can subscribe to the channel and stay connected with future videos. Each time you come back, you might understand yourself just a little bit more. If you're still somewhere in the middle of this, still unsure, still figuring things out, that's okay. Not everything needs to be decided immediately. Sometimes understanding comes before action. What matters is that you're starting to see things more clearly than before. And that alone is already a step forward. Thank you for staying until the end. I'll see you in the next video.